Oh, don't you get distracted by my legs now, okay?
Those are some
I
fine
need-
legs.
All right,
I
all right,
need
all
you
right.
to
Order in the court.
keep your attention on the case.
All right.
Order in the court. Let's get this show on the road. We've got another court case that apparently this one was the original one, and the one previously snuck in underneath. Very sneaky. We have is it the state versus... Where are we here? Give me 1 second. The state versus a Mr. Elchapo. I'm assuming Mr. Elchapo is here, is that correct? Excellent, thank you. Alright, prosecution, please step forward and introduce yourself along with the charges.
Afternoon, Your Honor. I'm Nick Sandstone.
And what charges do we have here today, Mr. Sandstone?
Charges of 1 drug trafficking and brandishing. I don't know if it's been updated
Oh,
or not.
sorry. I'll update that now. Yep.
So it's brandishing and drug trafficking.
Alright, very good.
The LSPD was alerted to a 911 call of
Oh,
suspicious...
hang on. 1 second there, Mr. Sandstone. We need to hear the defense first. Sorry, my phone's ringing. I've got to decline that. Alright, defense, please step forward.
That was me. Sorry, Your Honor.
Oh, I see.
I just missed you.
Oh, I see. Hey, stop buttering me up. Alright, Mr. Martini. Obviously, you don't need to introduce yourself because I know who you are. How does your client plead in these 2 charges of drug trafficking and brandishing a firearm or weapon?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Is there any evidence you wish to strike from the record?
No. All the evidence is fine.
All evidence is fine. Alright, thank you very much. Alright, prosecution, you may start with your opening statement, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. The officer and the trooper have then arrived on scene, have witnessed the individual having conversations with multiple people on the boulevard there, handing suspicious items. Trooper has then moved in and detained the individual after witnessing 3 handoffs. A picture was taken of them. A picture was taken of Mr. Elchapo, and then he was placed in detainment. Upon the firearm, he had a firearm in his hand. He was instructed to put it away. He did comply with those orders. He was acknowledged to his rights, and then after that, a pat down was done on Nando. After the pat down, they felt the firearm again. On that search, they then found 56 bags of marijuana and suspicious money suspected to be obtained through the alleged drug sales. Thank you.
Your Honor, may I add to that opening statement?
You may not. Only the prosecution can do it. He could.
I am the prosecution.
He's the prosecution. You're a witness. You're a witness.
What the fuck?
You can make your statement later. Right, defense, your opening statement, please, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, we're here to address the misunderstanding of intention, not a matter of criminal activity. My client, Mr. Elchapo, was not involved in any illegal dealings. He was simply offering gifts to members of the public, an act of goodwill and generosity, not criminal conduct. There is no evidence to suggest any illicit activity, no illegal exchanges took place, no wrongdoing occurred, and we have here our assumptions about his actions, and assumptions alone are not enough to prove guilt. Offering gifts to the public is not a crime. It is a gesture of kindness, a noble act, and does not in any way constitute illegal behaviour. The prosecution is tasked with proving that a crime has occurred, but they have proved no such evidence. I trust that after considering the facts or lack of thereof, you will return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, prosecution, if you don't mind calling your first witness, please.
I'd like to call Leah.
Hey, that's me.
There we go, Mr. Nato. Now just stand next to the prosecution. There we go. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. Thank you. You may proceed.
Can you just give me the events leading up and the events of the arrest, please?
Yes. So the events leading up, me and Officer Colton, we were just trying to find different ways to tickle each other inside of MRPD, and we realized that no one could win at this game, and so
Can we skip this part and go towards the 911 call, please?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we were driving and we got a call for some suspicious activity, and we were like just already like sussed out, you know. So we proceeded to go check out the area, and upon arrival, we see a strange individual running up and harassing people. We started going to them, and we couldn't quite tell what he was doing. So I pulled out my nice, handy little camera and pointed it right at him. And I saw him, Your Honor. It was awful. This man was handing out all types of drugs, heroin, marijuana, cocaine, meth, all of it. Lucky for him, all he had left on him was his weed. But I know it, Your Honor. I'm good at this stuff. I saw him do these handoffs, and then he proceeded towards us, and I told him to put his hands up and stop where he was. And I only peed my pants for like 2 seconds, Your Honor, I swear. And then he put the gun away, and everything was okay. So we proceeded to detain him and put him in cuffs, and then we removed all of the illegal stuff that we found on him. And he was actually very nice. You know, he was complacent and very respectable for us. He didn't try to run away. He was actually a very cool guy. I wish the best for him, Your Honor.
Thank you. But you witnessed
You're welcome.
You witnessed the suspect handing off suspicious bags, correct?
Oh yes, with my own eyes.
And with your experience with the state trooper, correct?
That is correct.
So with
Well,
your
actually, I
experience
think it's Satay because there's a spelling error in our document. If you go look up in our MBT, it's actually spelled SATE. So for the time being, I am a Satay trooper.
being a state trooper, your experience within that, and your past law enforcement experience, you most certainly believe that it was marijuana that he was handing off, correct?
Oh, 100%, dog.
Could you smell any drugs? Was he just...
No, this stuff was actually sealed pretty tight. I don't believe him to have been using his own supply, which I actually highly recommend for other drug dealers. So I don't think he was smoking it himself. He must have had some high quality product because I could not smell nothing.
All right. Thank you. I rest.
Thank you. Defense, would you like to question the witness? Come on back, Trooper.
Right?
Can we go back
Come
up?
on, Trooper. Come back to the stand.
Leo.
There we go.
How you doing?
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, every day is a good day, my friend.
That's it. So, Mr. Colton, at the time of the incident,
Oh, he's asking for you, Mr. Colton.
I'm
Sorry.
Colton. He's
Oh.
Leonardo.
oh,
Should
my
I go
bad.
sit down, Your Honor?
No,
No,
that's
I got that
no.
mixed up. My
It's
bad.
Mr. Nardo.
Do you want to go get pizza later?
No.
If you
Do you
change your
have the
mind,
same
I'll still
outfit?
stand. Sorry, what?
Do you guys have the same uniform?
I am not a part of the troopers, no.
I think you showed me a wrong ID. But anyway. Alright. So,
That's
Mr.
me.
Nardo.
Yeah.
At the time of the event or the incident, what gave you reasonable suspicion or probable cause, to say that this was illegal?
I didn't have probable cause at the time. I had reasonable suspicion. One, because he was approaching many people, handing off strange, suspicious-looking packages, and he had a weapon in his hand at the time.
Right. So, at the time of the event, what did you do once you went down there and seen him handing off items? What was your cause of action?
The first thing we wanted to do was kind of take a little gander, see what we were actually witnessing, if there was any wrongdoing. So I took a picture. Once I saw him start handing stuff off, I zoomed in and I wanted to see if I could find out what he was handing it off. And then he made his way closer to me, and I noticed he had a whip. And I was scared. I almost died, Your Honor.
Okay, so, Your Honor, with the picture that was provided as evidence, the actual picture, there's a pole blocking the interaction. So I would say that that would not prove anything in regards to the handoff and what the item was. And also,
Agreed.
so with the suspect being searched and whatnot, what gave you the suspicion and all that to be able to bloody search him?
I obtained probable cause to search him once I was able to conclude he had a weapon. For fear of my own safety, I patted him down. Once I felt the weapon, they gave me probable cause to search.
So the probable cause, in my belief, wouldn't stand because it is a right to bear arms in this city under the Constitution, and I believe it's number 4 or section 4 in the Constitution. Oh no, it is section 2, the right to keep and bear arms. So
I would 100% agree, except that doesn't mean you can just go around and waving it everywhere. As for self-defense, this guy had it out and was conversing with several people along the street with this weapon out.
did you see him
Now,
point
the
the weapon at
probable
anyone?
cause to search did not come from just seeing the weapon. It was after I pat him down and felt the weapon. For my own safety, I had to search him to get that off of him. See, at the time he was being detained, I did not know if he was rightfully using that weapon. And in my own experience, he did not have any reason to have that weapon out, as there was no danger seen nearby. He had no reason to fear for his life and use a weapon.
Are you sure that there was no threat?
Absolutely. I was not scared of anything except for his gun. Nothing else in the area gave off any threat.
So that's a fair point. But also, what gave you the fear that he had a gun if it's a right to bear arms city? Because that would be...
Well, anyone who has a gun and is waving around knows what a gun can do. He did not have any reason to have the gun out. He can keep it in his holster if he has one, in his pocket, that's no problem. But once he takes that out and there's no reason for him to have it out, yeah, I'm gonna piss my pants a little bit. Afraid he was gonna shoot me or my dear beloved Officer Colt.
Did he make any threats with the weapon towards the officers?
Negative. He hesitated to put away, but he was pretty compliant and he put it away once instructed to.
So what was the hesitation?
It was the hesitation from him. At first, he wasn't putting it away. He looked like he was either going to shoot me or maybe run away, but he didn't. He conceded, and he was a good boy.
So you believe that he was with the intent to run or shoot?
Objection, speculation. I don't know what he was thinking.
Okay. Do you have any other evidence besides the image?
Yes, we have over 50 bags of marijuana in the evidence log.
Yeah, so before you got the marijuana, the search that led up to that, do you think that the search was lawful even though you had a gun?
Yes, given that he was seen handing off suspicious packages and had a weapon, I had probable cause to conduct a search.
Okay. Arrest.
All right, thank you, Trooper Nato.
Satay Trooper, Your Honor.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Satay Trooper. All right, prosecution. Do you have another witness?
Yes, I do. I'd like to call Officer Dexter Colton, please.
Hey, you got this, man. Don't be afraid.
Officer Colton, do you promise to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're gonna win.
Mr. Stanstone, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I was about to say. It's just that-
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
we can't hear you when you're doing that.
Oh, okay. Could you just read out the definition of brandishing a weapon, please? And the charge list, please.
Brandishing a weapon. Alright. Display or brandishing a weapon in a way that a reasonable person would interpret it as aggressive, threatening, or hostile.
It being at Vinewood Boulevard, I believe. Yeah.
Correct.
Beach, correct? There's no wild animals nor normal threats at the beach, you would say?
No, not at all. Pretty well safe. You've got
What's
lifeguards there.
normally-
Sorry.
Sorry, continue.
I just say there's a lot of activity there, lifeguards, a lot of people, using the beach facilities. You got the gym there. It's a very safe area. I don't
As well
think
as young
anyone.
families there as
Exactly.
well, children.
Yeah, for sure.
What's normally the procedure when you get called to suspicious activity and find someone, brandishing their weapon? What would be your steps?
Well, personally, we get a call of suspicious activity. This is from the public letting us know. Obviously, those families or whatever have seen something a bit suspicious. We go in and we do a bit of surveillance. We're not just going to move in on someone straight away. We'll see what they're doing. And myself and Officer Nando over there witnessed the suspect talking to multiple people and with a gun in his hand. So we kind of go off the steps of we've been called in, we've witnessed somebody doing what that call is about, and also they have a gun in their hand. Which I'd just like to say, if he was handing out presents, I don't know why he would have a gun in his hand. It's kind of giving out different vibes there. So that's how we would go about it, and why we did those steps one after the other. Yeah.
Normally, if someone's brandishing their weapons, does that give you the right to search the persons for the firearms license?
Yes, we usually.
Objection. It's asked and answered.
Yes, let's move on from that line of questioning. We'll move on from that line of questioning, thanks.
Thank you. I stand.
All right. Thank you. Defense, is your turn to cross-examine.
Okay. So when you got the call that there was suspicious activity, did you go down straight away?
Yes, we were fairly close to the area when the call came in. So yeah, I think there was 2 or 3 calls previously, because we'd just gone on patrol. And yeah, we were heading in that direction when the 3rd call, I believe, came out. So there were multiple calls in that one area. And yeah, we went straight there, pretty much.
Okay, and when you got there, you say he had a weapon in his hand. Was there any visible stress or anything that the local population was worried about? Were they all just chilling out?
I mean, well, with the group that was around him, no, because they were conversing with him and they were doing something. So they're obviously talking to him. The people around him, I'm not quite sure. They seemed to be kind of by themselves. There wasn't it's like the group that were there to talk to him. Like they're all facing him, they're all talking to him. I wouldn't say that they would just random general public. If you get what I mean, yeah. I don't think anyone else in the area looked threatened. I guess no, is probably yeah.
And would you say that it would be a speculation that he was threatening with a gun?
We never. I suppose yes. He never really pointed it at anyone. But to have your gun out at a beach of all places, a highly public area, it is cause for concern. Not just that, because it only takes a second for someone to raise their gun and fire. So for them to have it in their hand, it just makes us wonder why. And then also seeing him handing out packages, that's when we put 2 and 2 together. So not necessarily that he had the gun out is why we moved on him. It was the call, the gun, and the visual of him handing out packages. Those 3 why we moved in.
So with the city of Los Santos being a right to bear arms city, did you ever consider the fact that it could have been the person that he was giving gifts to would be interested in seeing his firearm? This common interest?
I suppose so. We did not move in straight away. We were there for quite some time, and he had the gun in his hand the whole time we were watching him. So it wasn't like he pulled it out for 1 second and put it away. He had it in his hand the whole time. And then when we went up and made the arrest, he still had the gun in his hand when we put the handcuffs on him.
He could have felt threatened by the police with guns in their holster, maybe?
I went up with my taser, I believe, so I was non-lethal, but he already had the gun in his hand. It's not like he pulled it out as we were coming up. So, I mean, he didn't shoot us, so he didn't feel that threatened, I guess, but he did have it in his hand already. He did pull it out because of the fact we were there. He had it there the whole time.
Okay, I rest.
Thank you very much, officer. You may return.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Prosecution, do you have any more questions or witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Right, thank you. Witness, defense, can you please call your first witness?
Call my witness, Mr. Elchapo, to the stand.
Mr. Elchapo, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I swear, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You may proceed.
Okay, Mr. Elchapo, can you clarify whether the intended gifts were for random members of the public, or were they directed to specific individuals for a particular reason?
No, just random members of the public, seeing it was Chinese New Year. I was just handing out gifts on the way down to the pier.
Were these gifts meant to be acts of kindness and goodwill with no expectation of anything in return?
Yes. But I did not expect anything in return.
And did you, when you had your gun with you, was that just in case of something went pear-shaped with the local public, maybe thinking it was
Yes.
offensive?
As I got closer to the
Yes, that's
pier, I
that's
started to brandish my
that question needs to be rechanged, please. It's going to be stricken.
Did you feel threatened at any point during the interactions? Is that why you had your gun out?
Yes, as I got closer to the pier, I was brandishing my weapon because
Objection leading
there
again.
was
Yes, that is sustained. Please rephrase again.
Yes.
Oh my god, you're doing so good.
Well, that was a yes or no question, but all right. I'll rest, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Prosecution, do you have any questions for the defense?
I think that's a dub, boy.
Sorry, Your Honor. Just something's going on in my head.
That's all right.
Sorry, I'm back. I rest.
All right, thank you. You may sit down, Mr. Chapo. Prosecution, your closing statement, please.
I believe
All right,
you.
prosecution, your closing statement, please.
Your Honor, as seen today, the statements provided by the Sarte trooper and Officer Colton, when they arrived on scene, that he was brandishing his weapon and doing suspicious activity, which they were alerted to by the 911 call. From that, they've then had the right to search him, and then they've obtained the bags of marijuana, leading to the drug trafficking charge and the brandishing of the weapon as well. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Defense, your closing statement, please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is not about criminal intent, it is about misunderstanding of an innocent act. My client, Mr. Elchapo, offered gifts to members of the public in a spirit of goodwill with no expectation of anything in return for the Chinese New Year. He complied fully with law enforcement regardless he had the gun brandished. He was asked to put it away and he put it away. Yet he was searched without cause. Despite his cooperation, there was no reason to suspect him of any wrongdoing. The prosecution has not provided a shred of evidence to link Mr. Elchapo with any illegal activity. I urge you to focus on the lack of proof and the absence of any criminal motive. Mr. Elchapo is not guilty. Thank you, Your Honour.
Right, thank you. All right, I'll be adjourning this trial for a period of no longer than 50 minutes, so that's 30 minutes after the tsunami. If everyone could please return here by then, that'd be great. Thank you.
I told the boys I'd be on for black.
A few minutes later.
Oh, I think we might kick this off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's no ladies here, but I'm just going to say it anyway. In the case of the state versus Elchapo, I am convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that there was a violation. The written charge of brandishing a weapon is displaying or brandishing a firearm in a way that a reasonable person would interpret as aggressive, threatening, or hostile. I'm not entirely convinced with the officer's testimony here today that the defendant was filling that criteria. However, walking around with a pistol being shown in your hand does have me concerned at the defendant's motives. In addition, I note that this pistol doesn't have a serial number, which would mean it was more than likely obtained illegally, as all ammunition stores stamp their firearms. This is something for the prosecution and the police to remember for the future. I find the current laws are unclear and require refining. In addition, I find that the prosecution has made an excellent case for defining this clearer. As such, I am making a decision to implement common law, named after the officers here today who put their best case forward. This precedent will be as follows. It is called the Nardo-Colton precedent. A person who holds a gun in their hand will be taken to be brandishing a weapon regardless of whether they are aiming that weapon or not. It will be assumed that a person who seeks to draw their weapon is doing so with the intention to shoot. Now, in relation to the trafficking charges, I find the gifts of these items to be questionable. Going by the photograph, I don't see any handoff of anything to anyone, but going by the testimonies of the officers here today, there is something that would warrant reasonable suspicion, which in turn does warrant a frisk of a subject. In this case, the defendant had a pistol, and while they do have a pistol license, one of the requirements is to inform police prior to a frisk or search is to state that they are carrying. Also, the fact that the defendant just happened to be carrying a decent quantity of drugs, there isn't enough charge to cover this. I ordered the charge of trafficking to be stricken from the defendant's charge sheet. However, the drugs are ordered not to be returned. I defined the defendant guilty of brandishing a weapon. I order that the defendant's pistol license be cancelled for a period not longer than 24 hours. I also authorise a reduction of time served by the amount of 30%. This case is adjourned.